What is your money psychology? I know you probably never thought about it, but we all have it. We all have psychological thoughts that are behind the scenes, things that we don't necessarily always think about when it comes to our money and our spending habits. And I was having a conversation with my good friend and mastermind participant, Dr. Carla J. Cook. So I thought it would be very fitting for me to bring her on Tax Tip Tuesday as a special guest to just talk about the psychology of money, your money psychology. So, welcome to Tax Tip Tuesday, Dr. Carla.
Well, hello, Felice, and thank you so much for the invitation. And I'm looking forward to the conversation and just connecting with the listening audience.
Awesome. So I just want to let my let the listening audience know that you have tuned in to another segment of Tax Tip Tuesday with Tried and True Financial Services, where our core mission is helping entrepreneurs like you with the ABCs of finance to simplify your accounting, budgeting, and credit processes. Yes, the A, the B, and the C. Accounting, budgeting, and credit. And I know a lot of times we don't necessarily always think about it, but psychology has a lot to do with our money and our spending habits, like I mentioned before. So I'm going to kick off the conversation with our resident psychologist on the line with us today. And I want to start out by asking Dr. Carla, what has been your personal experience with entrepreneurship and the ABCs of finance?
Okay, well, listen, you already called me the resident psychologist, so that already means I'm coming back. And so let me talk briefly about this. And if we don't finish up this question, I'll come back and I'll
Because there's
continue
a
to
lot
answer.
that can be said about this
Oh
topic,
my
right? We can
goodness,
talk
there's
all day.
so much. I think let me start with the last part, the
Okay.
ABCs of finance, the accounting, the budgeting, the credit. Because when you ask me that question, what comes to mind for me is a four-letter word. And I believe this four-letter word is not just for me. I believe it's for other people that are listening in. And it's, well, heal is a four-letter word, but it's not heal.
Okay.
But it's connected to it, and that is help. Help. That what my experience with the ABCs of finance is that I need help, that it's not my area of brilliance, it's not my lane, it's not what I've studied, it's not necessarily what I feel 100% comfortable around, but I know that there is help. And I think so often what's happening for us, that, also this is not the lane, is that there can sometimes be this struggle around the financial piece
Oh, yeah.
and possibly not reaching out and connecting with the help that's readily available, like help like yours.
Absolutely.
So, excuse me. So for me, I lean in on help. I connect with those who can help me, with people, and then sometimes with certain systems, right? If it be a format, not a format, like a platform, that
Like
collects
QuickBooks
receipts.
Online or something like
Right.
that. Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you for helping me. Right.
That's that's what
So
we do. That's what we here for.
that's what you do. So help is important. In terms of my personal experience with being an entrepreneur, okay, so this could really be a long answer. What I will say is in 2002, I made my entry into opening a business.
Okay.
I worked in that business, a psychotherapy business, part time for 4 years as I continued to work for someone else. And then in 2006, I did the deep dive and I began to work for myself full time. And I've done that since 2006. And I've had a lot of different transitions during that time. I continued to build. I went from a solo practice to a counseling center. I made more of an entry into entrepreneurship when I developed a brand, outside of the counseling room, really feeling led and understanding and hearing the still small voice that it was time to shift. And so, very publicly, I talked a lot about what it meant to be well, and what it meant to be emotionally empowered. And I did that through different platforms. I had a radio show about that. And then now
Mhm.
I have this movement, Healed People, Heal People. And again,
I
it's
love it.
thank you. I know, and I appreciate the fact that you value it. You're connected with us, and you are an ambassador for Healed People, Heal People.
Yeah,
So thank you for that. And so it really, again, is bringing the message of healing to the masses to understand what it is that we can do it, how we do it, how to connect, and to really be connected to healing spaces. I think the very last thing I will say about this, because and I know we could go on and maybe this can be another conversation, but when you asked me about this, I thought about the fact that I wrote a chapter in a book with Cheryl Wood. The book is called Entrepreneurial Elevation. And my chapter is Emotionally Empowered Entrepreneurs Excel. And in this chapter, because I know you connect with a lot of entrepreneurs, I talked about the reality that entrepreneurship is not for the faint hearted. That there's even studies that look at the fact that when we look at entrepreneurs and the general population, there's higher levels of anxiety, higher levels of depression, ADHD, even. And sidebar to that, that can be connected to, traumatic stress, or I should say toxic stress, or even trauma. So it looks at the fact that entrepreneurs are challenged in this emotional realm, and the
yeah,
reality that it's important for us to lean in on that. You know, if we don't work, nothing else does. And
yeah,
so talk about some four pillars of being emotionally empowered. But I just put that out there to suggest that in our personal experience with entrepreneurship, one of the key things is to lean in on being emotionally empowered and stay connected to spaces that will help to support that.
help is needed.
Help.
Isn't that right? Help is needed. And so you said some very powerful things, a lot of very powerful things. And so one of the things that I want entrepreneurs who are listening right now to take away is that this is serious. Entrepreneurship is not for the faint at heart. You do need help. You can't do it all by yourself. And when it comes to managing your money, like entrepreneurship or people are starting small businesses at record highs. Okay. However, the average business fails within 5 years. And I know just through my matriculation through working in this space that it's often due to poor cash flow management or lack of access to capital. And a lot of times they have poor cash flow management and they can't get access to capital because they're not getting the help they need with their finances, managing their finances well, putting a bookkeeping system in place, making sure that you're filing your tax returns, your business tax returns on a regular and consistent basis, that you're in compliance with that, making sure that you understand and know how to build business credit so that you can separate your business finances 100% all the way around from your personal finances. The same way you get an EIN number for your business that mirrors your social security number for yourself. The same way you go out and get a business bank account because you need those business finances to be separate from your personal bank account. You also need to separate your credit, your business credit from your personal credit. But I could talk all day about that. That's not what we're here for. I want to segue into talking a little bit about the financial thermometer because we all have a financial thermometer. Some of us may have a lower thermometer reading or a thermostat reading, and some may be a little bit higher. But it all ties back to our psychology, the mindset, our money mindset. So, what's been your experience as you've counseled people with regard to their financial thermometer? Because I know, I'm not sure what if you have a specialty when it comes to counseling. But when you talk about marriage, a lot of times people fall out, whether it's, a husband and wife situation, whether it's a partnership. A lot of times people fall out when it comes to money because people have different financial thermostats, they have different financial mindsets. And so, have you dealt with the finance piece in your counseling much at all?
That's such an interesting question. And I love that you brought up couples, right? Marriages, and how important money is, and how very often that it can be the make it or break it. And it does have a lot to do with the financial thermometer or a thermostat. I think about, for us, if you're a person that likes it really cold, so you tend to run hot, so you like the room cold, but the person that you're with, likes a higher temperature. And how do you begin to compromise around that? And how do you begin to look at the fact that you like it cold is not a deficit, nor the fact that you like it hot is a deficit. So, absolutely, I have had to work with that. That is always in the room. In the therapy space, there's always the backdrop of many topics in the room, even if one did not come in to discuss that.
Yeah.
It's a part of our lived experience. And
Yes.
sometimes in talking about different matters, it starts to make its entrance, into the room. It now announces itself. And in
Kind of
with
like the IRS does. The IRS does that
yeah,
too. They make their entrance and they come into the room. They're like, "Give
are
me
you
my
what?
money."
Who are you and why are you here? I don't want to see you. I don't want to know you. But
Yeah.
right, they're always there. They're always there. They're just waiting to come. And so I think so often, with, let's say, with a couple, that it can be that struggle. And I think I've kind of answered it. Part of it is looking at the fact that there are differences, and differences don't mean deficits.
That's good.
That we can look at what are the advantages and disadvantages of each side, and how can we begin to capitalize on some of the advantages and begin to work together. Sometimes we have to just be honest that there is like an ocean between the two mindsets, their extremes. And um, it's kind of like, how do you even swim and get to like common ground there? And a lot of times this goes back to some premarital stuff. Did we ask the questions? Or are we asking the questions as we consider, is this my person? Can this be the person that I partner with, I connect with in covenant long term? Or does this become a deal breaker for me? Someone that does not have an appreciation for money. I think when we think about that thermostat, sometimes people come from a family, right, where money was tightly held, right, where budgeting was highly valued, as opposed to like let's spend it before you even get it in our hands, or let's put it on a credit card. And so, yeah, that definitely comes in the room. And I mean, there's so much to that. Even with the individual, we can look at, for that individual, sometimes the challenges around, how do I live life? The fact that I don't allow myself to enjoy even the little things of life because I'm so fearful that I'm not going to have.
Yeah.
That something is going to fall through the cracks. And so then some of the work then goes back to, where did I learn that? How is that affecting me? Is
Yeah.
there any room for me to begin to look at that in a different way, so that I can really be much more engaged in my life and allow myself to enjoy even some little things? So that's one way to kind of look at this question that you have posed.
That is very good. That's very good. And a lot can be unpacked there. At the end of the day, the reality of it is that any challenge that we approach in life can be dealt with. And so when it comes to your money management, your money psychology, it goes back to your first point is to get help. And once you get that help, know that whatever your challenges are, they can be managed. Even if they are, like feel like weight on your shoulders or your back, with help, it can all be worked out. And so that's a good segue into our final topic, and that is financial healing and going through the process of healing financially. I know we got to get help. I know we can conquer any challenge that comes our way. But what are some final thoughts that you might want to share with our listening audience about financial healing?
Well, I think as you introduce this topic, we can simply say heal, that it's time for us to heal, no matter where we are on the continuum. So, some of us are in a place where our finances are a mess,
Yeah.
where maybe we've hit some unfortunate times and we're in this process of rebuilding. Perhaps we are in this business and we haven't utilized help, so we have been struggling with it. So that's one end of the continuum to the person that, is invested and has a good understanding, of money, is getting the help that they need. I think sometimes I still think about the fact that we have to heal because day by day, we have this day-to-day demands of life. And I also think that we can always go higher in where we are. And so even when we're in a good position, we want to continue to have that health of where we are. We want to continue to heal. We don't want to get into a comfortable space or a space where it's done and there's no additional thing for me to do. And so that's when I continue to think about healing. I think about it on this continuum of being continual, regardless of where we are. And so I think it's going to be important for us to just be honest with ourselves. Sometimes we live in this land of, I don't want to know it, I don't want to see it, I don't want to deal with it because it's too much for me, it's too heavy for me, I don't know where to start. And so we have to start by the honesty, looking at where we are so that we can begin to make steps to grow, get better, build
Yes.
from that space. And
Yes.
so I would simply say, to let's heal, and to heal, let's start with that first step. And that is to look at where we are. And once we look at where we are, connect to the help, whether that be working with a mental health professional, because sometimes there can be entrenched, fears or avoidance or patterns that just keep us stuck,
Woo!
actually, right? Or it may be working with a coach, like yourself, or a business owner who can process us through the business of the ABCs.
Yes.
Um, and so, yes, heal with some help.
Heal with help. That's good. And on that note, we are going to end this segment of Text Tip Tuesday with none other than the incomparable Dr. Carla J. Cook. Listen, if you just tuning in, you have missed out on a treat. So I want you to make sure that you go ahead and you follow us on YouTube at Valise Smith. Make sure you go ahead and you watch this replay. Make sure you put it on repeat so you can hear it over and over again, because Dr. Carla shared so many nuggets. I know you blessed me today with some of the things that you shared with us on this segment of Tax Tip Tuesday. Because at the end of the day, the reason why we have poor money management, the reason why our finances are not in order, the reason why we don't want to pay taxes, the reason why we don't want to pay a bookkeeper, the reason why we don't want to track our finances and look at a budget is because we don't like what we see. And we don't like what we see because we haven't done the inner healing. And you guys, it starts with you. Get the help that you need. Know that Everything and every challenge that you face can be conquered with that help, and make sure that you do the inner work to get healing. Dr. Collar, thank you so much for coming on this segment, and we would love to have you back anytime that your schedule permits. I know that we are all busy professionals, but I want people to know that healed people heal people. And it's spoken by none other than the visionary of the movement of heal people, heal people. It's been said, it's been spoken, and it is written, and it is finished. We are done for today. And so thank you so much for coming on. And did you want to share any of your contact information if anybody wanted to connect with you and the Heal People movement? Please feel free to share.
Yeah, thank you so much. This was such an amazing, lifting conversation. And it's always so great just to be connected with you as my sister. Please, let's connect on all social media. You can find me at Dr. Carla J. Cook on all platforms. Dr. Carla J. Cook, all platforms: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok. I look forward to connecting with you there. If you're a woman, definitely check out the Healed Woman Hub on Facebook. Would love to see you there to get additional content and value.
Awesome. It's been great. And I thank you so much for joining us. And we'll see you all next week on our next segment of Tax Tip Tuesday with Tried and True Financial Services, where our core mission is helping entrepreneurs with the ABCs of finance to simplify your accounting, budgeting, and credit processes. Have a great day.